Welcome to All Four Downs. I am Joe McGuire. Ovi Maniz will join me shortly. It was a wild week in college football. As predicted, Texas blew it. Notre Dame got exposed. Miami gave away a huge win, in Georgia made a huge statement. We'll cover that in first down. Second down, we will look at this week's coming big games. And boy, there are a whole lot of them, especially involving several Pac-12 teams. We're going to give you our picks. Obi's got his top 25 in third down. And in my final whistle, we'll deal with the certainty of college football. Ovi, nothing about last weekend surprised me at all.
You were spot on when it comes to the Georgia football team because you nailed it to where so many in the last 2 years, so many Georgia players have went off to the NFL, and yet they find a way to win. And now it's not as how it was before, not as dominant, but when they start getting that rhythm, it's unstoppable. And I feel like Kirby Smart has a playbook for every team, and it's not pretty, but when it comes down to show it, like they did against Kentucky, scoring 51 points, I think it's time for all the critics to shut the hell up, let them play, and if the time comes that they lose, then they'll lose. But for now, and they proved me wrong.
Yeah, look, I've
They
been
did.
very like again, some of these are close games, closer than they should be, but like I said last week and I've insisted all season, and I'm certainly no Georgia Bulldog fan. I haven't watched a second of a game this season where I thought they were going to lose the game.
I never thought they were going to lose the game. I was just concerned that at any moment they could make a careless mistake and cost them the game. You know what I mean? Like a fumble or interception or just some
Well, here's the thing, Kirby Smart is smart
right.
enough to take a knee when that's the right move to make. So I don't worry about Georgia. I don't. And listen, to me, the talent level at Georgia is so much greater than where it is anywhere else that I think this team could play poorly. This team could be sloppy with the football on any given Saturday. They're still a good enough football team, and they've got good enough football players at all 22 spots that they could probably find a way to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
They
so
do.
you got to understand too. Look, what is this? Their third game in the SEC. The level of competition is great. They showed Kentucky is slightly overrated, but by virtue of being an SEC team, that comes with the territory. That
I
that
won't say they're
you're
overrated
expecting.
because they were ranked low. You know what I mean? It just they just don't have enough against Georgia.
Sure, but listen, here's the thing, and we've talked about this before because it
Mhm.
happens all the time. We're a team that wasn't previously ranked, got a few wins. They're in the SEC, and they just so happen to be playing Alabama and or Georgia. Those teams always end up ranked somewhere between 20 and 25. It's amazing. It could be a 3-loss Texas A&M team. They'll find a
They'll find a
way
way to get
to
ranked.
get them in the top 25 to lose to one of these SEC teams just to further cement their records against top competition. But again, it's the the gap the gap is gotten bigger between Georgia and Alabama.
Absolutely. And we're
And
probably going to
the
get to see
gap
them in the
the
SEC
gap
championship.
between Alabama and everybody else is enormous.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And you know
so
what's so
again,
enormous is this comment that was being posted saying that the Pac-12 is the new SEC. Slow down, my friend. Just
listen,
slow down. You're
I
not even close.
I think well, listen, the Pac-12 doesn't exist in about 3 months. So let's be real with each other here. The Pac-12 is great. The Pac-12's problem is there's always so many good teams.
Mhm.
Everybody gets a couple of L's. You can't get through that conference unscathed. It's impossible.
Nothing's
But that's
impossible, but
not
you're
good
right.
enough anymore. You can't
Mhm.
you lose a game, you're done. You lose 2 games, unless you're Alabama, you're done.
Yeah.
There's no other way. So, yeah, it's always been unfair to the Pac-12, and I got news for Jason, any other Pac-12 fans. The idea that that conference is gone after this year, it's not gonna get any kind of special love or extra consideration from anybody.
The deal's done already.
Anything
Absolutely.
If anything, they're gonna hold the fact that that conference is donezo against them.
This is the best way to leave, go on top. But to be honest with you, the beginning of, I'd say the first couple of weeks looked like the Pac-12 was dominant. Okay. And yeah, they won all the games, they had the best record and stuff like that. But when you look at it now, are the defense really playing the way they were playing in the first couple of weeks? I mean, look at Utah.
Listen,
Utah can't score that much points.
tell me right now,
USC can't.
if Georgia
defend.
played USC
Georgia would have won.
right now, Georgia plays USC this weekend, who wins the game?
Georgia by a blowout.
Blowout.
Yeah.
There's no the USC's defense could not possibly. It would be like
Carson Beck will
Kentucky
have a
game.
highlight
blowout.
reel. Carson Beck will probably record-breaking touchdown scores in Georgia history because that's how bad that defense is. And
Here's
then when it comes to Georgia's defense,
Yeah.
Caleb Williams will not run around, and you probably won't even talk about him in a Heisman. That's how brutal Georgia could do it to USC.
From a football standpoint, let's understand why the Pac-12 is going away. The Pac-12 is going away because USC and UCLA stopped being powerhouses. Stanford had a nice little run in there for a bit and stopped. As I said, you're in this new era. You're putting it's such a problem to play all these good teams. You're going to get through league play with a couple of losses. It's just going to happen. And again, that ends up putting you out of title contention. Compound that with the fact that you're on the West Coast. And so these games are late. Only the real football fans, people like Jace, stay up and watch those games. And he's treated every week to great offense, great quarterback play. The Pac-12 is all about that.
I think this year's the best quarterback, though.
The Pac-12's problem is that the best recruits from California aren't staying out west. They're coming east.
They're coming to the southeast.
Yes.
Southeast.
Yeah, when I say the East and I'm referring to football, clearly I mean the Southeast.
Southeast, yeah.
But that's where they're coming, and that's the problem. And again, it would be nice to fantasize about a bunch of Pac-12 teams in the top 10 by the end of the year, maybe somebody getting there, and you're going to get blown out. Just like Michigan would get blown out or Ohio State will get blown out. The talent gap is wide.
Absolutely. Hey, let's not talk about talent. We're going to talk about that pretty soon. But I wanted to give a big shout out to the Bristol Police Department. I understand that this Thursday will mark 1 year since they lost 2 officers in a tragedy. And so we wanted to take the time to acknowledge them. Bristol Police, we're thinking about you guys. I know they have the little memorial going on this Thursday. So on behalf of all 4 Downs and Clovercrest Media, our condolences once again to the families and everyone affected by it. Also, donate to your local oh man, I lost my words. Donate to your local community on breast cancer awareness. This is October, breast cancer awareness month. I know a lot of relatives close to me that have been affected to breast cancer. So please, in your local area, please donate and help the cause. Let's fight cancer, shall we? Absolutely.
You know what? Not for nothing, too, brother. Tell the women in your life if they haven't gotten an exam to schedule a mammogram. Tell your girl,
Absolutely.
tell your wife, make sure they're doing it because they have to. This is the time of the year where you should do it. Do it. That's why we're going pink.
Absolutely. Also, VFW veterans out there, please, man, go to your local VFW, sign up. Get those benefits and everything else, and let's help other veterans and families and everything else. Because look, if you ain't paid attention to the news, I think we're gonna go into World War III pretty soon. So we definitely gotta support our troops, support our families, and everything else. Please go ahead and join the VFW today. We're gonna start off with first down without the whistle and the Brian Kelly look once again. This picture started since week one. Okay, when that was that look when they lost to Florida State, and by all means, I had to keep that look because listen, Miami, come on, come on. You had the game. Like Hunt Redwood says, you played to win the game. Miami didn't do that. Instead of taking a knee to win the game, Miami decides to run the ball. They fumbled, and Georgia Tech took advantage of it and made a comeback and scored a game-winning touchdown, and the game was over. Why, Joe? Why?
Well, I think that's a question that I think Mario Cristobal needs to answer because what are you doing there? And this isn't the first time he's done it. It's happened to this dimwit before, where he's literally lost a football game. So are we padding stats? Are we what are we doing here?
You know what?
Are you trying to score again? I mean, I have
Mm-mm.
to wonder what the intentions are, but whatever it is, what an idiot.
I hope that we don't learn about this later on and saying there was some gambling issues. This is a big red flag.
Yeah, I
How
don't like this.
the shot clock is 40 seconds. You completed it down, which is less than 40 seconds. So all you had to do was take a knee. Okay. So my thinking is I hope that the decision was that, hey, let's do this. Maybe get extra yards for money wise, or did you really give the game away to benefit yourself? I just hope that's not the case because this is plain old garbage. Because this weekend would have been against North Carolina, both teams undefeated, and then we would have been talking about the ACC like, oh, look at it this side of the house. We're talking about the Pac-12. Look at the ACC, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina. I think I got something brewing here. But instead, we're always going to talk about how Miami just fumbled their victory away. Unbelievable.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me
Upset.
twice, shame on me. I again, Ovi, I have some questions. He initially actually tried to act like he wasn't sure what everybody was talking about, and then it took a day to finally fess up that he's an idiot and should have done it. But to me, that just casts more doubt on this. What were you doing?
Well, I need an investigation
And
on that one.
This blows their possibilities at a championship run. The national championship that they were dreaming about. Outside chance, crazy, I know.
No,
but it's down the drain right now. There will
absolutely
it'll never be a possibility, and it's all because he's a moron.
Hey, they spent good money getting him out of Oregon to coach Miami. That's what it is right there. Upset special. Louisville defeated Notre Dame 33-20. Last year, Louisville beat Sam Hartman while he was with Wake Forest. And this past Saturday, they beat Sam Hartman again. They got his number, but did Louisville get everyone's number? Because quietly, they're undefeated. Did we miss that?
Well,
Louisville's
I saw this
looking awesome.
I saw this one coming too, and I got to tell you, I don't know why a 2-loss Notre Dame team is ranked at this point because they've proven to me, and the way they played against Duke was pathetic. That they're not a top 25 team. They're absolutely not. I'm glad that they lost.
They're regressing every week, and I don't understand because Sam Hartman is such a better quarterback than what is presented, but it seems like that offense is losing its edge every week, and then that's more pressure to the defense. And I just got to ask, it's like, look, you had your formula, and I predicted they could finish 12-0, but after the Ohio State game, it's like things has never been the same.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't get it.
This team's not as good as everybody thought it was. Listen, I feel bad for Notre Dame fans.
You don't feel bad. Stop it. Stop it. The only people that feel bad is Notre Dame themselves, but the hopes were up, right? The hopes
Yeah.
were all like me hoping that the Giants will actually do something this season in the NFL. That's how bad. That's Notre Dame this year. All right, second down, Heisman candidate 2023. All right, we have these are my top three: Dylan Gabriel, Michael Penix Jr., and Caleb Williams. Random order. There's no such order, but was recognizable as Gabriel under pressure was able to do the game-winning touchdown for Oklahoma. He went 23 for 38, 285 yards, a touchdown. He also carried the ball 14 times for 113 yards for a touchdown. Now, talking about a dual threat right there. I mean, Gabriel, I know he had a little slump towards the second half, but he ended up, when it came to clutch, that is the man. And they're undefeated with a defense. I wouldn't be surprised if Gabriel takes the team to the college football playoffs.
I
But
don't think so.
Hold your thought, because listen, I believe so, man. I think that hump in the Big 12 was against Texas. And look, it proved that they beat them, right? And you nailed it. You said it yourself. Texas finds a way to beat themselves.
Yep.
When it comes for a big time game just like this, I'm telling you. But Heisman watch: Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., Quinn Ewers, Bo Nix, Jordan Travis, Dylan Gabriel, and Jaden Daniels. Those were the top that was on social media. Out of those people, who do you choose to be the top candidate?
To me, it's still Caleb Williams. I think this is his trophy to lose. He's still playing outstanding football despite what the defense is doing. To me, he's the best. He's the best right now.
I am acknowledging Jace Garcia, who's tuning into the show. I know he won't win, but Brock Bowers deserves consideration. Brock Bowers has found a way to improve that offense in Georgia. And yeah, without him, I don't know. I mean, then again, there's a lot of talent behind him too. So it's not like, again, we discussed this already. So many people went to the NFL, yet they still keep on winning. But yeah, he is a star, but there are plenty out there. I'm with you. I'm with Caleb Williams right now. I loved seeing new, how you say it, new people win it.
Yeah.
But as I told you before last week, it's been a long time. It's only been one time that someone won back-to-back Heisman. Why not this year? So, yeah, why not Caleb Williams? He is talented enough. And besides, he's not playing defense. He's playing offense, and he's damn good. He's real good.
Well, he wins in spite of his defense. So you got to give him credit. It is kind of like carrying a team on your shoulders.
More than that, I think his back is hurting right now. All right, third down is the college football playoffs, and this is my top 25. If you tune in to Sunday, when I publish my top 25, you know the reasons why. So here we go. 21-25. Yes, Notre Dame 5-2. But Notre Dame's dropped down big time. So another loss and they're out. But they're going against USC, another ranked team. And that's why their schedule is always about ranked teams. Wisconsin, Miami, West Virginia, and Air Force. I like Air Force in the Midwest Conference since 2003. They're doing awesome. They started 6-0. Let's see if they can match it what they did back in the days, right? But they're looking promising there. 16-20, Duke, Tennessee, Liberty, Utah, UCLA. No one's talking about Liberty. No one's talking about Liberty. They're coming from being independent to the conference, USA. They're handling business there. All right. UCLA got a big game this weekend. We'll talk about that in our picks. And again, Tennessee out there next month. They take on Georgia, but let's see how well they do then. 11-15, Oregon State, Ole Miss, Texas, North Carolina, and Louisville. Louisville ranked 15 in my books. Louisville's been in there for 2 weeks in a row, and they're looking solid under the radar. But look, they're so neck to neck with North Carolina. I can't wait till those two teams meet up. Texas falling 5-1, but man, I know they fell hard. But I tell you, there's just a lot of better teams up there in the top 10. 7-10, Florida State, Penn State, USC, and Washington. This week, prove me wrong. This week, prove me wrong. I'll tell you why. Because now you're going to look at my top. You ready? Here we go. Starting with 5-6, Oklahoma and Alabama. Oklahoma proved 6-0. They keep on winning. Don't make it in automatically. Alabama, They still got one more hurdle to go through, and that's in the SEC championship, should they reach that moment. Ohio State number 4, Oregon at number 3, Michigan number 2, and Georgia number 1. We already talked about Georgia, but I like to talk about Oregon because Bo Nix has that offense locked, and that defense has gotten better this year than last year. And guess what? They have a rematch against Washington, and I can't wait to show you more because that is our first pick coming up on our next down. And comparing to my top 10, pretty easy. When it comes 3 out of the 4, right? Georgia, Michigan, and Ohio State for the AP and coaches poll. I still don't understand why Oregon is not on the top 4. But after this weekend, hopefully I could prove you wrong that Oregon is the best team in the Pac-12. Any comments?
I think that's solid. I'm okay. Your list, I think, is a little more spot on.
I try to get that eye test, right? Everyone got their eye test. So
Yeah,
let
I
me
mean,
check
listen,
my eyes.
again, I understand Alabama's got a loss, but is Oklahoma better than Alabama? Come on. You know what I mean? You're a little more realistic. You've got an undefeated Oklahoma in front of Alabama. I can respect that. Saying Alabama's the 10th best team in the country, let's be honest, they're probably still number 2.
Who? Alabama still number 2? I'm still not sold on their quarterback though. Not yet. I need to see more consistency. Let me see if they can still deliver.
They're getting it done.
Right, they're getting it done. It's almost like you're watching practice.
Yeah, it's a weekly audition for quarterback, and they're able to do that in the SEC. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, you're tuning into All 4 Downs, is the NFL and the college football picks and rankings. Tune in to our published show that's going to happen later on in the NFL picks. Hector couldn't be with me because he's on doing other duties, but definitely that's coming up after this show. And we're going into 4th down with our picks. Get ready for our college betting because they're tuning in right now. Oregon versus Washington. Now, this is fabulous because I try to find a way stat-wise for the last 2 years, right? Because Bo Nix played, Penix played. It was tremendous, okay? Last season, Washington came back, scored the last 10 points of the game. They won 37-34. Oregon had an opportunity to win. However, there was a receiver that went out of bounds, illegal touching, and it was the last play, and they could not advance the ball at Washington's 38-yard line. Therefore, Washington won. Now, we're replaying that. This is the rematch. Who will win? I got my pick straight up. I'm taking Oregon. Washington's favorite 3 points, but on the money line, I'm taking Oregon.
I'm going to take Washington. I feel like if this game was in Oregon, maybe, but I think this Washington team is very, very good. And I don't know for some reason why you're not giving them the due that the national coaches poll and everybody else is giving them. But yeah,
Look at the schedule, though.
I think Washington, this might even be a push. This might end up a 3-point game.
No, I
Washington wins.
I believe it could be a 3-point win for either team. It's going to be damn good. I wouldn't be surprised if, look, it's a Pac-12 game. I wouldn't be surprised if they total the points at 70 points or more. Honestly, I got a feeling that's going to happen, but I'm taking Oregon. You got Washington. I like it. I like it being even. It's real close. It was very hard. I just got to follow my
game
gut.
of the weekend.
Yes, absolutely. And that game starts at 3:30 p.m. on ABC Eastern Standard Time. So definitely got to tune into that game. Moving USC and Notre Dame, I feel like this is going to be the worst game to watch, even though their record is 6-0 for USC, 5-2 for Notre Dame. But Notre Dame is favorite in this game.
Okay. USC is going to win the game 56-16. So do what you want with that. This is going to be an absolute rout of Notre Dame. This Notre Dame team just ain't that good.
But you're talking about a USC defense that's not good. That's averaging. What do I write down?
I
Oh,
just said Notre Dame was going to score 2 touchdowns. That's pretty solid for them because they're not that good of a team.
USC probably give up like 38 points for Notre Dame,
Say
even
they
though
do.
USC
Say
averages
they
over
do.
40.
Caleb Williams will throw for 7 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns, and he'll run for 1. It's going to be an absolute blowout. Notre Dame doesn't belong on the same field as USC. I think any legit Notre Dame fan knows what they're in for. You're going to take a beating. It makes sense. You're not that.
USC
It's not your
won.
year.
USC won last year, 38-27. That's towards the Thanksgiving. That was the last game of the season. Being that this is mid-season, I got it close. I know you say blowout, but I still think it's going to be a game.
Dude, this team has put up 14, 21, and 20 against good
All the other-
competition. Okay. Again, USC six touchdowns easy. I'm telling you, they're going to
that's
score
too much.
42. If Notre Dame
Okay,
scores
I
30,
respect
I'll
that.
be shocked.
I respect that. You say 42-20, I respect that.
That's still a blowout.
Yeah, but you're talking about like 57-16. That's not going to happen.
I think that's just as likely. Notre Dame could start to feel deflated in the second half and get blown out of this one. And again, look, I just think USC is just way better. And again, USC's much better than Louisville. They're much better than Duke. And they've got a better offense than Ohio State. What did his comment say?
He said that USC is going to boat race Notre Dame. That Arizona game was a look ahead spot. Okay. I mean, I don't even know why USC gave up 41 points against Arizona.
I think Arizona. I think Arizona would also beat Notre Dame.
Oof. Well, they lost 2 of the last 3 games, so anything is possible. But I don't know. The bettors think that Notre Dame is going to win it. They saying that they're not going to lose 2 in a row. So
listen, when you start off your season and you play fruitcakes and you blow them out, and you get an overinflated sense like we're really good, and then you meet 3 good teams in a row, you walk out of there with what should be 3 L's. The one win you got was an embarrassment. It's not good.
They should have one against
right
Ohio
now.
State. I give them that. They should have had won that game, but they blew it because they didn't have enough defensive players on the field. That's what happens. Bad coaching. UCLA versus Oregon State, one of my favorite games to watch. DJ Gulele, that's my man. I'm sticking by him. I love Oregon State defense. I'm taking Oregon State all the way.
I'm a Beaver guy. I mean, I love I've told you before. I dynastied Oregon State on the old NCAA. Took them to multiple national championships. I have a Beavers hat. Ken Simonson a few years ago made his big Heisman run. I've always loved Oregon State. I drafted Musgrave I love Oregon State. I do. They never beat UCLA, even when they're good. And it sucks. And this hurts my heart.
I think Oregon State got a rhythm, man. Look, they beat Utah while UCLA lost to Utah. But that Washington State game, Oregon was making a comeback, but ran out of time. So I still feel like Oregon's going to run the table on UCLA.
I want that to be true so bad, but again, Oregon State. I mean, this is in Corvallis. This is right where I want them, but they just don't beat UCLA.
Really? You're gonna go there?
I hate to say it. I'm a Beaver fan. I like the Beaver.
So say it.
They're gonna lose.
You gotta be kidding me!
It's gonna be a close game, but UCLA is gonna win it. So give me the points.
Next, Missouri versus Kentucky. This is an awesome game. Both 5-1. Kentucky suffered a loss, 51-13 to Georgia. If they stay disciplined, being that they're in Kentucky, if they stay disciplined, they could take care of business and beat Missouri. So I'm taking Kentucky.
Yeah, look, I think Kentucky shouldn't have been ranked. That's why they got spanked by Georgia. I think Missouri is going to pull this one out, and it's going to kind of undermine Georgia's big win from last week. But they're going to make up for it by putting Missouri in the top 25. So
get out of here.
it all works
Get
out
out of
in the
here.
end for the SEC.
Kentucky,
They win
Kentucky's on
again.
a 2-game win streak over Missouri. No, I'm sorry. All right. You got Missouri. I have to respect your decision. Yes. And you know what? Both these teams are coming off a loss. So one of these teams are going to have a back-to-back
It's going to
loss.
be a huge win for Missouri. Biggest win in program history. They're going to storm the field.
In Kentucky, really? Get out.
Yeah, they're going to storm the field.
That's all right. About to happen. Miami versus North Carolina. I don't even know why North Carolina is 3.5 favorite. You might as well put 9.5 for North Carolina. So if you're able to go on DraftKings or Sugar House or wherever you do your sports betting, change that line to negative 9.5 for North Carolina and get more money, because North Carolina is going to go to town to Miami. And if Miami decides they want to play, I'm sorry, but Drake May is going to run all over their asses. I'm sorry. After that pathetic ass game last week, North Carolina, I don't fuck it. Put double digits on that shit.
North Carolina is not going to go 6-0.
You got to be kidding me.
And the ACC, as usual, tries to find a way to doom itself from the college football playoffs. Miami beats Carolina. It's a bad home loss for Carolina. It ruins both of their chances at the postseason. So there you go.
I don't know where you're getting your stats from, but
Mario Cristobal's got big money on himself this week.
I think what happened is you're talking to Frank of Speaking It Real podcast, and there must be a virus or something, because you're not seeing eye to eye, especially being at North Carolina. I don't understand.
North Carolina, I don't know if you know this, it's a basketball school. And much like Syracuse, they'll get out to a 4-0, 5-0 start. They do it a lot.
North Carolina comes around every 4 or 5 years.
And you think to yourself, oh, maybe they're finally ready to start competing with the big boys. And then they have a home game that they seemingly should win against a seemingly declining ACC foe, and they lose.
Van Dyke struggled against Georgia Tech. Come on. Georgia Tech? I don't know how you see that.
A bump in the road.
A bump
in the road. I mean, again,
if
they blew it.
It's a bump in a road that you couldn't take a knee? That's a bump in a road?
Well, I am suspicious. I am very suspicious of what happened there.
Very.
So
Tulane versus Memphis.
I'm going to chalk that up to an anomaly. Miami's a better team than North Carolina, no matter how you cut it. And in North Carolina, it's going to really sting for Carolina to lose that game at home, and to lose it handily.
Well, hey, moving on to the next game. Tulane versus Memphis. This is the top 2 teams in an American conference. And I purposely put that because in the last few years, these two battle each other neck to neck. One of the best games in that conference. And I'm glad that they're staying put together. But the advantage here is whoever's home wins. And I'm surprised Tulane's favored by 3 points. That means they're not really sure, but Tulane does. They look solid. Don't get me wrong. But Memphis still had better competition. They did lose to Mizzou 34-27, SEC team. But then so did Tulane. They lost to Ole Miss, 37-20. They're prepared for these battles, but for the last 6 years, the home team wins. I think they're still going to continue. I think Memphis pull up an upset. And regardless, I know this guy's talking about a better quarterback. You can have a better quarterback, but you got to have a good offensive line for that quarterback, right? Memphis got a great running game. I'm taking Memphis at home.
I am with you on Memphis at home. And it's I like Tulane, and I want to say last year I dreamt of Tulane. And this is a Memphis win. It's a good game. A good game between these two, but yeah.
All right, your favorite Syracuse Orangemen versus Florida State. In Florida, favorite 17.5 for the Seminoles. You think it's going to be even wider?
Yeah, this is a game here for Florida State to really, again, Syracuse is still, I think people aren't convinced that they suck, but they do. And again, I'm a fan of the Orange, and I watched each of the last two games. It's not good, and there's no reason why Syracuse should be as bad as they are, but Florida State's having themselves a year, and they're going to stomp all over the Qs. They'll win this game by at least 20.
Well, North Carolina beat what's that, 33 points.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping Florida State will do even better. So I could claim that, yeah, they're the best team. But if they don't, then I don't know what to tell you, Florida State. Just saying, don't choke. That's all I'm saying. Don't choke. Or can Syracuse pull an upset? I don't know.
No, Syracuse absolutely can't pull an upset. Syracuse is awful. I mean,
I say
Garrett
that by
Schrader,
purpose.
dude.
I'm
He's
saying
such
it
a
by purpose
talented
for
guy.
you.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Lamar Jackson, where he can have a great game, and yet somehow in the last minute or so, he does something so stupid to blow it. But it hasn't even gotten there because he's been awful. Again, once the competition got more serious, and where I thought, yeah, Syracuse, no, the talent gap is way too far. And it's why they've gotten pounded each of the last 2 weeks. And the Clemson game was not even as close as that score might indicate.
All right. All right. Texas A&M versus Tennessee. Tennessee's favorite 3 points. I know Texas A&M got, suffered a loss to Alabama 26-20. Great game. As expected. I mean, these guys are always between them two, one possession away. But Tennessee's on a roll. I mean, they won 2 in a row, but I mean, they did beat UTSA. They did beat South Carolina, but you lose to Florida. That's the problem, Tennessee. You lose to Florida. I don't see this happening. This is an upset. I'm taking Texas A&M to beat Tennessee.
Listen, this Tennessee team is good, but they're not winning the swamp good. You understand? Are they beat Texas A&M at home good? Yeah, definitely. A&M is a tough team. They've played well.
So here's a trivia
again,
for you.
listen.
Not a
Again,
trivia. Hold
listen.
on for a second. Check
That's
this
it.
out.
That's it. Hold on. You look at their 2 losses. They lost in Miami. That's a tough place to play. Always
Right.
has been. And then you lose at home. Alabama again. The second best team in college football on a talent level. That's not bad. That's not bad
No.
for A&M.
Did you know that
they're going to fight it out, but they're not going to win the game?
these teams are even 2-2? And doing my research, the 2 wins that Tennessee made, it dates back to when the Aggies were in the Big 12. And they played each other in the bowl games. Tennessee won. But since the Aggies moved over to the SEC, Texas has won both those games. So Aggies going to win and make it 3 in the SEC.
Well, it seems like 2-2-1-1. So it looks like Tennessee wins this one and A&M wins next year. You got it wrong. You got the pattern wrong. This is a 2-2-1-1 situation.
We're playing basketball. What's up with this?
Yeah, the 2-2-1-2.
You taking Tennessee?
I'm going to say Tennessee takes care of business at home.
I got the Aggies, and they're going to take care of business.
But listen,
always be second best.
Even though A&M is going to have 3 losses, they will end up back in the top 25 in 2 weeks. Just watch.
Get out of here. Moving on. Iowa versus Wisconsin. These 2 teams are battling for the best of the Big Ten East Division. And I'm taking Wisconsin all the way on this one.
Yeah, Wisconsin's a much better team. I just don't think Iowa's going to have the offense. You got a couple of good defenses here. I just don't think Iowa's going to be able to produce enough points to win this game.
If
not
McNamara would have stayed, but McNamara's out for the season. But if he would have been playing, I would have leaned over to Iowa. But they suffered a lot of losses, a lot of injuries in Iowa. So yeah, give me
I just saw
Wisconsin.
the spread's 9.5. Good Lord. I did not know that.
Yeah. Big time. Big time. And lastly,
I'm not gonna bet on that game in real life. I can tell you that much. I'm not comfortable with that.
Wyoming versus Air Force. No one's talking about the Mountain West. I've been watching myself. Air Force is having the best start since 2003.
Hold on. Did you say no one's talking about the Mountain West? They don't even talk about the Pac-12. Why would they talk about the Mountain West? What are you kidding me?
Well, and news is
What are
that
you?
Mountain West
What are you in Jason's
Pac-12,
brain?
they might merge into one conference. We'll
They
see.
should.
We'll see. But Air Force, I'm taking them over Wyoming.
We're still not going to pay attention to it.
No.
Yeah, I think
I'm paying attention because of Army got a plan for the Commander's Cup. So
Air Force goes 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be 10-0. And are they ranked?
No, they're not ranked.
Even ranked
I have them at 25.
They'll be 10-0 and they'll be ranked 25th.
I'm always ahead of the game when it comes to this, man. You got to give love. You got to give love to the other conference because that's why they play the game. Yeah. I just don't understand.
I promise you right now. You know who'll be 24th? Texas A&M with 3 losses.
Of course you would.
I can't wait for that to happen.
You're out of control, man. Out of control. Out of control. All right, it's time for the final whistle. And Joe, I know you have a lot to say with this up and down coaches and everything else. So have at it, shall you? Go ahead,
my friend.
All right.
You've probably heard the expression, the only things certain in life are death and taxes. But lately, when it comes to college football, certainty reigns supreme. Penn State is stuck in the second tier of the Big Ten. The Pac-12 is good, but they pound the crap out of each other every year, and everyone ends up with 2 losses. Mario Cristobol's teams don't take a knee. Texas is overrated, and so is Notre Dame. And by the way, for everyone who's saying that Oklahoma deserves the love, but Texas doesn't deserve the hate, you're missing the point. Texas finds a way to blow it every year. Vince Young and Jamaal Charles was a once-in-a-lifetime situation, Texas. Grow up. Otherwise, they blow it. And the Sooners, give them a couple of weeks. Because again, outside of 2000, you'd have to go back to before I was born when Oklahoma didn't blow it. Here's another certainty. Michigan fattens up on an easy schedule, gets ranked too high, and then lets everyone down. They haven't taken care of business since Tom Brady was patrolling the big house. The final certainty in college football, and I told you this last week, I predicted the beatdown that Georgia threw on Kentucky. Georgia is the best team in the country. The talent gap is wide. Very wide. And the only team that's got a chance to beat them also plays in the SEC. Thank you so much for watching. For Obi Moniz, I'm Joe McGuire. We'll catch you next week for all 4 downs.